Guys, I know usually whenever we're talking about a Henry repeating arms firearm, we're usually talking about a rifle cartridge. In fact, we're almost always talking about a rifled cartridge when it comes to Henry repeating arms, like this 22. Today, we've got something pretty cool. Today, we're going to be talking about, yes, a shotgun, a 410 shotgun from Henry repeating arms. Guys, meet the Henry HO18-410R. This is a sweet piece. The weight of this thing is 7.33 pounds. It's 40.5 inches long. Very nice. I like the bluing on this. This is a bluing. It has the appearance of somewhat of a Parkerized finish because it's got that matte finish, but that is a bluing finish. Very rugged look to it. Looks like it's going to be very lasting. I don't think fingerprints are going to be an issue. Usually whenever you take guns like this out, a lot of times we're leery to put our hands on it, like some of the Golden Boys by Henry and all that, because you're afraid to get fingerprints on here that are just going to not make it look good because you're going to want to wipe all that off. This real rugged finish to me is nice because you're not sidetracked by trying to clean all the fingerprints off all day long. Its 20-inch barrel comes with a cylinder bore choke, which is simply a tapered constriction of the gun barrel's bore at the muzzle end. The sights are pretty nice. It's got a brass bead on the front and an adjustable semi-buckhorn on the back. This is a nice rear sight. I like the fact that both of these sights sit up pretty high. You don't have to get down real low on the rifle whenever you're aiming. You can sit up at more of a comfortable level, whether an adult is shooting it or a kid. It comes with a black ventilated rubber recoil pad. That's pretty cool in the event you have a child shooting it, or an older person, or a female. So it's got some versatility to it, but the length of pull is at 14 inches, so it's certainly going to be comfortable for an adult to shoot as well. Of course, it's lever action. It does take 2.5-inch shells. It takes 5 rounds in the tube. It's got an MSRP of $893. It's got some American walnut. The American walnut stock on this thing is beautiful. I mean, the wood grain on this thing is impeccable. I love the checkering that it has on it. It's got the checkering on the pistol grip and the forend. It's even got checkering on the bottom side of the forend. I think that's a really nice touch there. You'll notice that the checkering is not some little bootleg checkering either. It's got the diamond cuts in it, very clean, crisp diamond cuts. If you get in close, you can see that it's not just, you know, hammered down. These things are nice, very well cut, but they not only cut those, but they cut these little, I guess you could say, decorations in the middle of it, separating them, the little groups of diamonds, and then they outline the whole thing with an additional cut. Man, that's putting a little bit more attention to detail, more than you probably need to put into a 410 lever action gun. That's the way Henry rolls, man. They don't play around. It's got all your standard feeding. Naturally, you're going to put your shells in, just like all your Henrys do on the magazine tube. Again, this thing holds 5. You can put one in the pipe if you like. But this is a really, really cool setup, and I absolutely cannot wait to shoot this thing. So let's shoot this thing. All right, guys, it's raining again out here in Louisiana as I load this thing up. First off, I'm going to be shooting several things today. I've got Winchester Super X right now. This is pretty much just a game load. And just want to kind of hit these targets and get familiar with the gun. I have not ever fired this thing before. So again, as I said earlier, it just pretty much loads in the tube here. 5 rounds in the tube. My first round in there. Let's get some up close first. All right, I got one a little far off. Easy. Now, all the cowboy action guys are probably laughing at me because they're like, come on, dude, you got to cycle faster than that. I know I do. I'm certainly no cowboy action shooter. But as you can see, this thing here is, I mean, it's the point and shoot is so easy and so effortless on this thing. It just feels so good whenever you aim it. Cycling it, I can tell you, and it may be because we're dealing with a much larger round than, say, the 22 and some of the other rifle cartridges with the Henrys. It's a little more clunky, and again, we're not broken in, but most of your Henrys don't require much of a break-in period. But nothing's polished in here or anything. I know the cowboy action guys do a lot of work on their internals many times, but again, not bad. I'm just saying it's clunky, like right here and a little bit right here. So as I'm pulling ejecting the spent casing out and pulling the other one in, it just seems to have a little bit more of a speed bump, so to speak. I do think that's going to clear up a little bit. I'm going to shoot some more rounds because this thing is actually pretty fun to shoot. Okay, in most cases, whenever we use a 410, we're probably going to be using it, if it's not a youth shooting it, it's more of a varmint type gun around the house. You know, you can kill some coyotes with it, possums, rabbits, whatever. Anything that might be a nuisance around the house. It's also good for a self-defense gun. So what I want to do is I'm going to try some different rounds. What I tried originally, that was a game load, a bird load. It performed very well. If you noticed, I had targets that were set up here, oh, I don't know, about 5-6 yards, and then I had some other ones set up about 10 yards. You know, 10 yards away, it was easy peasy. I mean, a nice spread on it with that game load. All right, now I've got Remington slugs. Looks like 1 ounce, 1.5 ounce slugs. Again, these are by Remington. So big green here. The slugs ought to be pretty cool. I mean, that's something that I could see definitely using if you take a child hunting or something like that. Probably not as much of a self-defense type round as anything else, but definitely something that if you want to get a youth bagging his first little small game animal or something like that, might be kind of cool to use this round. All right, guys, here we go. This is a rifled slug. No recoil, none whatsoever. No recoil at all on that. All right, disc and balls. Front left. We had an issue with this ammo earlier. Leave that camera rolling. I want you guys to see what's going on here. That round is not wanting to come out of here. The next round. This last round that I just tried to shoot, come down here, and it did not seem like it wanted to load from the magazine tube. That's why you always want to test your self-defense rounds before you actually utilize them. Let's see if it loads here. I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to see this. Let's see if it loads in there. Yeah. If the lifter picked it up, you see the round in there? There it is right there. But I could not get that thing. I'm going to load 5 more in there. All right, let's give this one another shot and see what we got. Not sure. I mean, it's always a chance that anything is operator error, but I believe I cycled the action on this thing properly. And oh, by the way, I forgot my regular glasses, my reading glasses that I usually use to shoot. I'm not trying to be ultra cool by wearing my sunglasses. I just need eye protection. I don't have my glasses with me. All right, here we go again. Let's try. Looks like that one loaded in there. It could be me pussyfooting around and not loading it right. So let's see. Loaded. Good. Good. It's possible that it's me. Again, like I said earlier, right now it feels like this thing needs to be broken in a little bit. Because I'm not an avid shooter of lever action, there's a very good chance, just like whenever you short stroke a pump shotgun, you can do the same thing. If you don't engage the action all the way and you only go partially and then you try to get back in there, it may throw that spent casing out the way it's supposed to, but it may not always bring that next one in properly because you haven't given it the full cycle of the action. I'm sure that's my issue. All right, let's move on to the next one. I've got something pretty cool here. This is, I'm always happy to use and excited to use anything by Hornady. Hornady doesn't mess around. They have this critical defense. This critical defense has that same, that FTX, that red tip on the bullet, the actual projectile, and it's just very, very popular. And they put that in here along with 2 round balls. Let's see how this one does. This one I'm excited about. This one would be an outstanding home defense round to use. Yeah, that feels good. Very nice. I like that round. I want to see if I can hit my 35-yard target out there with one of these Hornadys. Let's load up with 5 of them. Let's see. I'm not going to be able to see if I'm missing And if I am missing, I'm not going to be able to see where I'm missing at all. So again, if you look out there, I'm right above my square target. Let's see here. Oh yeah, it's hitting it easily. 35 yards. I think that first one hit with the actual projectile. That second shot, I believe, was one of the little ball bearings. That's the projectile. I don't think that was a ball bearing. That was a pretty solid hit. That too. Yeah. That's a cool round. Well, guys, I got to tell you, I had a lot of fun today shooting this this Henry 410. A sweet little gun. I mean, as you see, operator error can always creep into your shooting, no matter how much you shoot. Now, again, I'm not making excuses here, because it's all on me. But I'm not an avid lever gun guy, so you know, if I'm going to short stroke this thing and not go all the way forward, I'm sure that was the issue, and you know, certainly can't pin that on Henry. And again, the main reason why is because my experience with Henry repeating rifles in the past is 100% success. I cannot imagine they missed it on this. So again, we're going to chalk that up to operator error, which is usually the case with me, guys. Look, a lot of people out there, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be real honest with you. Typically, when you have guys sending guns in, they very rarely give the gunsmith or the manufacturer that they're sending the gun back in with the full truth. And I mean that. And you guys know what I'm talking about, especially those of you that have not given the full truth. Usually when a gun breaks, malfunctions, misfires, whatever, there's a human being that caused that. It's not usually the gun. It's usually not usually the gun. Now, I understand that some guns may be complicated, and just like I might have demonstrated here, that there's a certain way to use them, and if you don't use them right, then it could make them malfunction. But I'm a firm believer that if you do what you're supposed to do, most of the guns are going to do what they're supposed to do as well. So again, this is a lot of fun. I like shooting this gun. I like the way it handles. The other version is a longer barrel. I like the smaller one. I like the fact that you can maneuver this thing pretty fast and pretty effortlessly. It's just got such a cool little setup. It's very compact. It's heavy. I mean, the 7+ pounds that it has makes it very wieldable. You know, you definitely can move this thing without feeling like you're overshooting your target, but at the same time, again, that weight is going to assist you in taming that recoil a little bit along with that recoil pad. I would be totally happy and totally confident letting a younger person shoot this thing, obviously with adult supervision, but I think this would be a great entry-level gun. You know, obviously you have your 22 Henrys that are unbelievable guns for training a new shooter on how to shoot. This would be a logical next step up for them. You know, not only to have a heavier caliber and, you know, a more meaty gun to shoot, but obviously one that they can hunt with at that point. You know, take them squirrel hunting, whatever. I mean, there's some things you can do with this. So I could see this being a great gun for a young person. I also see this being a great gun for maybe on your four-wheeler or something like that, around a ranch, around the farm. You know, this is going to be something that you don't need a 12 gauge whenever you're, you know, going to shoot some kind of a varmint or something like that on your farm. So this could be a very useful gun in my opinion. I see Henry selling a lot of these. I'm glad I got my hands on one early, because I do feel like once the word gets out how cool these things are, there's not going to be a whole lot of them to be had.